Hi, in this video we're going to look at solving algebraic fractions. It's a higher GCSE topic, and to be honest it's probably one of the hardest topics that there is in the higher GCSE syllabus. You need so many different skills to be able to access these questions, and quite often it's the last question on a calculator paper, and it can be worth anywhere between 5 and 7 marks. So even if you don't feel confident in getting a complete solution, at least have a go at these questions and follow the steps until you get to the point where you feel that you can't go any further. But I would try and get as many of these marks as possible and not just ignore it and give up at the sight of the question. Okay, let's have a look at some of the ideas that you need to be able to do in order to access these questions. I've linked a few things here. I've put down as the objectives that you need to be able to make equivalent fractions, you need to be able to rearrange equations, you need to be able to solve equations, including quadratics, more often than not using the quadratic formula. You also need to be able to be confident in tackling multi-step questions and keeping really clear, precise notes and doing things in a logical order, one thing at a time. That's how you're going to pick marks up. Okay, let's have a look, see the sort of question that you might get. This first question, you'll see it says solve, and we've got a fraction that equals something else. So we've got, in this case, a fraction here, something in terms of thirds, we've got another fraction in terms of fifths, and it equals 2. Remember that solving means that we have to find the value of x. We want x equals something. Now, we're always going to do these sorts of questions in a similar way. As with any fraction, you need a common denominator. If this was a number over 3 and a number over 5, we'd find equivalent fractions. We'd find something over 15. And we're going to do the same thing here. Now, you're going to get into the habit of doing a process here. And the process that we're going to start doing is something along the lines of this. You're going to do 5 lots of that and 3 lots of that, and you're going to multiply these two together as well. It's a process called cross multiplying. If we do that, we end up with 5 lots of 2x plus 6 minus 3 lots of x plus 1, all divided by 15, which equals 2. Now from here, we're not a million miles away from being able to solve it. I can multiply both sides by 15, which gives me 5 lots of 2x plus 6 minus 3 lots of x plus 1 equals 30. Now, there's a couple of things I need to point out at this point. Notice that I've used brackets, and I've used brackets here and here, where there were no brackets around the original question. And the reason I've used brackets, and you'll notice in the words that I was using, I said that we ended up with 5 lots of this and 3 lots of this. So I'm keeping brackets to make sure that I know where the numbers are going, and at some point I am going to have to expand those to say that I've got 5 lots of one thing and minus 3, as it turns out, lots of the other. Okay, so next step is to expand my brackets. So I've now got 10x plus 30. Notice here I've got minus 3. So minus 3x minus 3 times 1 gives me minus 3 equals 30. And now it's a process of collecting like terms and solving for x. So if I start to collect my like terms together now, I end up with 7x. That's 10x minus 3x. 30 minus 3 is 27, so plus 27 equals 30. Continue with this, so I've got 7x equals minus 27 from both sides equals 3, so x equals 3 over 7. Okay, and again, more often than not, I'm not always going to get nice whole positive solutions, but I have got an answer, and I've got an answer that I'm fairly confident is correct. Okay, here's another question. I want you to have a go at this one by yourself. I want you to think about what the common denominators might be. I want you to think about cross multiplying, and I want you to think about how you're going to then collect your like terms together, solve for x. Pause the video now, and I'll come back and see if we can pick up some marks throughout the question. Okay, so I'm hoping that what you've done is looked at cross multiplying these and having a common denominator of 21. So if we cross multiply, we get 3 lots of x plus 5 minus 7 lots of x minus 4 all over 21 equals 2. Okay, I can now multiply both sides by 21, which gets rid of this denominator down here. So I'm multiplying both sides by 21, which gives me 3 lots of x plus 5 minus 7 lots of x minus 4 equals 42. And I'm still not tempted to try and do lots of things in one go. I'm doing one thing per line, and I'm using a different colour to show the one thing that I've done per line. Obviously you're not going to do that in any exam, but this is really good practice just to do one step at a time. Next I'm going to expand out my brackets. 3x plus 15 minus 7x. Notice here I've got minus 7 times minus 4, so plus 28 equals 42. Next I'm collecting like terms together. So if I collect all my like terms together next, I'll end up with, well, I've got 3x minus 7x, so I've got minus 4x, I've got 15 plus 28, which is 43, equals, sorry, I need to rub that out, equals, plus 43 equals 42. Okay, next I can take 43 away from both sides, so minus 4x equals minus 1, so x would equal minus 1 divided by minus 4, x equals a quarter. Again, I haven't got a whole number, but I have got a solution, and I'm confident that that solution is right. Right, in this example we've now got algebraic terms for our denominators, but that shouldn't worry us. We're still going to do exactly the same thing. I want to do a cross multiplying, so I still need to cross multiply here, and cross multiply down the bottom. We're going to do exactly the same thing, so let's do that. I'm now going to have 5 lots of x plus 3 minus 3 lots of x minus 2 all over. Okay, so now I've got one term multiplied by another. If you're not confident at doing this, I'm just going to do it up here. X minus 2, x plus 3. Remember, I always use the FOIL method, but if you've used a grid or something else, then use that, or crab claw, or whatever you use. You're going to end up with x squared minus plus 3x minus 2x minus 6, which is going to give you on the bottom, collecting my like terms again, x squared plus x minus 6. Okay, and this all equals 4. Right, last time when we multiplied by the denominator, so let's do the same thing again. We've now got 5 lots of x plus 3 minus 3 lots of x minus 2 equals 4 lots of x squared plus x minus 6. And you might think at this point this is just going horribly wrong, but what I would do is bear with it. I'd stick with what's going on and see if we can get to a solution. I need to expand brackets next, so let's expand all my brackets out. 5x plus 15 minus 3x plus 6 equals 4x squared plus 4x minus 24. I'm now going to collect all my like terms together. Now I'm tempted to collect my like terms together on the right hand side, because I've got a positive 4x squared. So I'm going to move fundamentally everything on the left hand side of my equal sign to the right hand side. So let's do that. I might try and do that in one go. We'll see how we go. So if I collect my right terms across here, I've got 2x plus 21 equals 4x squared plus 4x minus 24. Take 2x from both sides and take 21 from both sides. So if I'm taking 2x from both sides and taking 21, also running out of space a little bit here. Let's just move it up here so a little bit more space. So if I'm organising this, so I've now got 4x squared. I was taking 2x from both sides, so plus 2x, and I was taking 21 from both sides, so minus 45 equals 0. Right, at this point then, what I'm thinking about is, can I work out what x is? To work out what x is, I need to be able to solve this quadratic, and we solve that by factorising. Now, at this moment in time, I'm not convinced that I'll be able to spot it, what the solution is, and more often than not, we don't spot the solutions to these sorts of questions. It's not one that we can do, and the clue would typically be in the title, where it would say, give your answer to 2 decimal places, or something similar. I'm going to go straight to using the quadratic formula. Remember that the formula is given to you, and it says x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. And again, if you're not sure about using this, watch other videos on solving equations. Right now I'm going to put the numbers in and see what happens. So b is positive 2, so I've got minus 2 plus or minus the square root of 2 squared, which is 4 minus 4 times 4, so minus 16, multiplied by c, which is minus 45, so times 45. Remember, minus times a minus makes this a plus, all divided by 8. Okay, I've now got to the point where I've got minus 2 plus root, and again I'm using my calculator for these bits now, so we've got 16 times 45 is 720 plus 4 equals 724. 724 over 8 is going to give me one solution. My second solution will come from minus 2 minus root 724 over 8, which means that x is going to be given by the following answers. So let's see, for this first one, equation 1 here and equation 2, if I do that again on my calculator, I've got minus 2 plus root 724 divided by, all divided by 8, which gives me 3.11. So x equals 3.11, and for my second solution I've got the same equation. Notice you can't see what I'm doing on my calculator, but I'm just editing it. I'm not typing the whole thing back in again. I'm just editing the plus to a minus, and my solution comes out at minus 3.61 to 2 decimal places. Okay, so a lot of work to do with these sorts of questions. However, it's worthwhile sticking to it because there are so many marks available. Okay, let's have another go. Okay, so in this example we're going to do a similar thing. We're going to look at cross multiplying first of all. Okay, we're going to cross multiply these. We're going to multiply our bottom denominators as well. So we'll end up with 2 lots of x minus 7 plus 1 lot of x plus 1, all divided by, if I expand these out, we will end up with x squared minus 6x minus 7 that equals 1. If you don't believe me, I'll just double check that. X plus 1x minus 7. If you want to check by using crab claw or foil or a grid method, you will end up with this. If you then multiply up by the denominator, you will get 2 lots of x minus 7 plus x plus 1 equals x squared minus 6x minus 7. Expand my brackets out, so 2x minus 14 plus an x plus 1 equals x squared minus 6x minus 7. Collecting like terms together again, we've now got 3x minus 13 equals x squared minus 6x minus 7. And finally, we can move it all in terms of an x squared. I want a quadratic that I can then factorise and solve. So I'm moving everything on the left hand side here over to the right, and I will end up with x squared minus 9x and plus 6 equals 0. From there, I'm looking at it very quickly, a very quick inspection. Are there two numbers that I can multiply together to make positive 6, that adds together to make negative 9? I'm thinking that I can only have minus 6 and minus 1, which gives me minus 7, or minus 3 and minus 2, which only gives me minus 5. So I'm going to go straight to the quadratic formula. At this point, if you're following along, you use the quadratic formula here and just verify that you get to x equals 9 plus or minus root 57 over 2. You'll end up with two solutions for x. X will be 8.27, or you could get 0.73, again to two decimal places. So I'm not going to go through the whole process of using the quadratic formula. You should be able to do that by now, and if you can't, then check the other videos on that particular tool. Okay, here's another one for you to have a go at. You can get up to 7 marks for doing these. Pause the video, have a go, and I will explain how to do it in a second. Okay, so in this particular example then, what I would expect you to do is cross multiply. So again, multiplying up here, and multiplying these, you'll end up with 5 lots of 2x plus 3 plus 3 lots of x minus 6, all divided by, and again if you multiply these out, you should end up with 2x squared minus 9x minus 18, and this equals 2. Multiply up by the denominator, so 5 lots of 2x plus 3 plus 3 lots of x minus 6 equals 2 lots of 2x squared minus 9x minus 18. From here, we've got to expand brackets, collect like terms, get it all together, and then factorise. So let's expand brackets. 10x plus 15 plus 3x minus 18 equals 4x squared minus 18x minus 36. Collect all my like terms together. So I've now got 13x plus 15. Oh, sorry, not plus 15. I've got a minus 18 here. So that's going to give me 13x minus 3. So minus 3 equals 4x squared minus 18x minus 36. Bring everything on the left to the right, again keeping my x squared positive. I'm just going to again minimise this down just a little bit. Okay, let's keep going. So from here we should end up with 4x squared minus 31x minus 33 equals 0. Use your quadratic formula. Again, you'll pick up marks for using your quadratic formula. You should end up with x equaling 31 plus and minus root 1489 all divided by 8. If you don't get 1489, just double check all of your negative values. Also notice that here it's a positive 31 because it's minus b, okay, which gives me a positive. Our two solutions that I should be looking for are x equals 8.70 and minus 0.95, both to two decimal places. Okay, so if you've been making revision cards throughout this series of videos, you'll notice that we always do something very similar at the end. Solving algebraic fractions is a case of practice, 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 practice. We're always going to do the same thing. We always cross multiply. We always create a common denominator, multiply both sides by the common denominator, expand, collect times, form a new equation, and try and solve lots and lots and lots of steps using key skills that you've been picking up all the way through doing your GCSEs. But it's not an easy thing to do. I understand that. There's so many areas that you can make mistakes, and one thing I would be really careful of, as ever, is with your negative signs. Okay, this is an area where you could make a mistake, and it's a real shame because having done so much work, it'd be a shame not to get full marks. Okay, hope you've enjoyed the video. Good luck with your exams, and look out for other videos in this series. Thank you.